It's so nice to be able to look back and see how much I got done this year. This is what the inside of the bus looked like at the start of 2022. The first thing I did this year was probably the scariest part of the whole build so far, and that was to cut a hole in the roof of the bus, actually 2 holes. These were to install my Max Air fans in the roof. Next, I installed a bunch of timber battens in the ceiling. These would be used later on to attach the ceiling boards. And then I insulated the entire bus with foil board. The next big job was the laying of the vinyl sheet flooring. It took a bit of work to get the floor prepped and level enough to lay the vinyl, but I was pleasantly surprised to find that the whole job was actually a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. And I think that laying the vinyl floor was the thing that really made the bus start to feel more like a home and less like a bus. The next thing I did was to do some work in the cab area. I laid down sound deadener over the entire floor and then installed new carpet. This proved to be quite a challenging and frustrating experience because the True Fit carpet that I'd purchased was anything but True Fit and required a lot of cutting and moulding into shape to get it to sit nicely. It's probably the first job that I've done in the bus so far that I wasn't really happy with the result, but it turned out okay, and in reality, when the build is finished, most of this is going to be covered and you won't even see it. I lined the side wall of the cab area with ply and then reinstalled all of the covers and the passenger seat. And the cab area is now looking a lot nicer and a lot cleaner than it did originally. The next thing I did was to install a whole bunch of timber studs and internal framing on the walls. And then I put up the final layer of insulation, which was the metal and thermal break sheet. And boy, what a difference did that make. I covered the insulation on the walls with thin ply, and then my dad helped me to line the ceiling with shiplap pine boards. And I was really feeling like it was making progress. Then it was finally time to build my first wall in the bus, which was pretty exciting. It wasn't an easy build because there weren't a lot of good anchor points to attach to at this end of the bus, but it worked out pretty well and I was really happy with the end result. The next big job was to build the bed. Again, this was a bit of a design challenge because I wanted it to slide out and be extendable, but it turned out really well. Some more walls at the back of the bus to frame out the areas for the fridge, the pantry and the electrical bay. And then it was time to build the kitchen cabinet. I'd never made a cabinet in my life, so this was a huge learning curve, but I really enjoyed the process and I was really pleased with the way it turned out. I made a simple cabinet with removable shelves and plastic storage containers instead of built-in drawers, and I built a special built-in shelf so that my Metho stove could slide out from underneath and I would keep the entire bench top free for working on. I learned how to make a cabinet door for the first time and how to install hinges. And I made a bench top with a custom splashback, which although was a real pain to install, turned out beautifully. The next thing I did was to tackle the entry step. I hadn't done anything with this area since I bought the bus, so it was pretty grotty. I pulled up all the old trim, gave it a really good clean, painted it with Penetrol and Rust Guard paint, and then I built a set of storage shelves in the stairwell. I designed these shelves so that the door mechanism would still open and close around them, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. The next job was to build the dining table. I lined the wall that was going to be visible in this area with the same shiplap boards that I put on the ceiling, and then I built a support frame for the tabletop. The table I made from a piece of laminated pine that I stained with a mix of 2 different colours to get the look that I wanted. The table is removable, so I can take it off at night to make more room when the bed comes out, and I can also remove it to access what I'm going to be putting underneath it. The last few jobs of the year that I did were back in the cab area. I installed some timber frame supports so that I could put down some removable sheets of ply to make a bed area for my dog Pepper. She can use this area to hang out during the day, and I can also clip her harness into the seatbelt of the passenger seat here so she can travel safely when we're driving. And the last thing I did was to build a storage cabinet behind the driver's seat in the cab area. So by the end of 2022, the bus was really starting to look like a little home, and I was so excited to be able to finally get it registered officially as a motorhome. Pepper and I can't wait to share the rest of our journey with you in 2023.